I've been listening to my husband practice. He doesn't practice at home very much. But since he's been playing with this little group, he's been playing out of this fake book, this jazz fake book. So every night he sits on the piano and he's playing, and so I've been noticing lately, and very curious as to how those three guys that play together, have only played together 3 times, can sound so amazing. They know when to start, they know when to stop, they know when to take a break, and when to let the other one play a solo. So I've been trying to pick his brain when he'll stop playing long enough for me to ask him a question. But basically, I'm more curious about the bass player. So I asked him a couple of weeks ago, I said, how do you know what bass notes to play with the song? He says, I'm thinking of the chords. The chords, where they go. And he said, most jazz sets have very logical chords. Now, this morning in the beginner class, we talked about the blues progression. C, F, C, G, C. That's the most common chord progression. So if you're a beginner, you can play hundreds of songs with that one. But the most common jazz and blues progression is the one we're going to give you now. How many of you have a problem memorizing? Okay. Which is harder? The chord to memorize, the chords, or the melody? The chords. Always the chords. Okay, I think all of you can pick out melodies, can't you? Stormy Weather, you can hear that song in your head, can't you? Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. I can't sing. Stormy weather. Okay, so you kind of think of how the notes go in your head and how far apart they are on the keyboard, and you just play them. And sometimes when you hit them wrong, doesn't matter, you kind of fix them and they're okay. The problem is, if you look at a song like this and you go, oh, the chords, how do you remember the chords? Well, you don't remember the chords, you remember the pattern of the chords. That's what I missed when I was growing up and going through lessons. My teachers never told me that there was a pattern that they follow, and if you know what it is, there's very few deviations from them. All right? You also know that songs follow very distinct patterns in the way they're written, correct? There's 32 bars in a song. Remember we've talked about that? That songs are multiples or derivatives of 8. 8 bars of a theme, 8 bars of a theme repeated, 8 bars of a bridge, and 8 bars of the theme repeated. Okay? Now, sometimes, like in a hymnal, you'll see 16 measures of a verse and 16 measures of a chorus. Classical music. When I was taking lessons, no one told me that most of the classical music is chord-based. I'm teaching 2 little kids, and their mom is taking like a little 10-minute session after I give them their lessons, and she's a pretty good pianist. She's learning the Sonata Pathétique, which is really hard. First part's really easy. Middle part, horrendously hard. And she's going, I can't do this. I'm going to have to, memorize one note at a time. And they're going, da, da, everything's opposite. So the other day, I thought, if we use logic with this, and we sit down and we figure out each position that she's playing, and name it as a chord, there's got to be a pattern there. And oh my gosh, it was the most amazing thing, because all of a sudden, that really, really hard 12 bars to 15 bars that was just, she'd been working on weeks, all of a sudden just went, oh my gosh, look, it's just this, goes to this, goes to this, goes to this. I got it. And it was like this light bulb moment. Classical music is all based on chords. The composer was thinking about the chords when he wrote it, and if you know what they are, because they don't put chord symbols in classical music, then it's a lot easier. So I don't know why teachers don't teach chords first. Because now with the kids that I teach them chords and the structure of chords and the inversions of the chords and how to spell the chords from day one. Then they look at a piece of music and they go, oh my gosh, that's just a D minor chord written out. And all of a sudden it just goes, no big deal anymore. So look at this song. Let's count 8 measures, Stormy Weather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so let's listen. I'm going to play it, and you just follow along with me. Here's the chord progression that will help you memorize the song like that. Look at the very top line. First chord is what? C, A minor, D minor, G. Now watch. If you know music and you know that chords come from scales, correct? Yes. Yes. How many notes in a scale? 8. So we're in the key of C, right? In this song? So we write down a C scale. This is how you can figure out what chords go with any key. If you turn the first step, first of all, how many sharps or flats in the key of C? None. Zip. That means none of the chords in the key of C can have a sharp or a flat in them. Yay.
That's good.
That's good? All right. How do you spell a C chord? C-E-G. If you turn the first step of any scale into a chord, it will be major. Okay, it's called a tonic, if you want to get stuffy. Okay, in case you want to test me, see if I know what I'm talking about. That would match your shirt.
Yes.
All right, D chord, how do you spell it? D, F sharp, A. I just told you, you can't have any sharps, right? So what happens when you flat the third step of a chord? It becomes minor. Second step of any scale, make it into a chord in the key that you're playing in will be a minor chord. Okay? How do you spell E chord? E, G sharp, B. Can't have G sharp, right? Now what does that make it? Minor. F, A, C. Major. G, B, D. Major. A, C sharp, E. Can't have C sharp, right? Minor. B, D sharp, F sharp. Uh-oh. Can't have either one of those. So what happens when you flat third and the fifth? It becomes diminished. Okay, now we're not going to deal with this. We're only going to think of 1 through 6. Cool, huh? Have you ever heard the term diatonic harmony? I had to dig it out. It was in there. Diatonic, what does dia mean?
True.
Huh? Dia means 2. Tonic means tones. Diatonic means 2 tones. It means you never have one chord ever in a song. You have to learn chords in 2s. A chord has to go somewhere. All right? Do you know any songs that only have one chord? I'm sure you might have played some. Yeah, you just forget. You realize you didn't change your hand the whole time. You can't have a song with just one chord. So there are songs that only have 2 chords. So diatonic means a chord and where it goes. So there's a very basic rule for where chords go. Want to tell me where to go? You're gonna put this on the internet?
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
good then. All right, so the rule is chord number 1 can go anywhere. Chord number 1 is usually the name of the key that you're in. So C is where you always start. Okay? Chord number 1 can go anywhere. Now, in the key of C, and let's erase this now, okay? What are the 3 major chords in the key of C? C, F, and G, right? C, F, and G. What are the 3 minor chords? D, E, A. D minor, E minor, A minor.